And we say good morning to you. We're live again at Champion Chevrolet again on this Wednesday. Yeah, normally you would think we'd be, of course, at Chick-fil-A. We're not going to be there today. We're going to be back there next week. But we are here today at Champion Chevrolet inside the studio, inside the showroom here at Champion Chevrolet. And again, there's lots of traffic on this parking lot today. Goodness gracious sakes alive. It is busy here this morning. That's the way we like it. And with good reason, the number one Chevy dealer in the state. Nobody sells more Chevrolets in the volunteer state of Tennessee than Champion Chevrolet right here in Northeast Tennessee. From the top of the state of Mountain City all the way across to Memphis, nobody sells more Chevys, and we'll tell you why, because it's employee pricing month, the month of November here at Champion Chevrolet. So we're here, and we just came back from the Hardee's Classic. She's going to stop by and talk to us here in just a few minutes. The Hardee's Basketball Classic bracketing press conference, media conference. We had that a few minutes ago down at Crockett High School in Jonesboro. So we're going to tell you all about who's playing and the bracketing, and get ready for that. We're going to be broadcasting the semifinals and finals coming up on Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Of course, on that Saturday, the 25th, the championship and the consolations. The two semifinal games on Friday night and the consolation championship on Saturday, the 25th. And I'll tell you all about that coming up in a few minutes. We've got college basketball. We've got NFL news. We've got NBA news, got Major League Baseball news. Going to be joined by Sean Witten coming up here in a little while. The head coach of the Elizabethton Cyclones is going to join us by phone, talking about their big matchup with the highest scoring team in the state, almost said in the country, in the state, averaging 55 points a game, the Anderson County Mavericks, and we'll talk about that team. Also, I want to remind you that we do have up and running the Sean Witten Coaches Show. All you have to do is go to the Tom Taylor Sports Show Facebook page, and there it is, or go to YouTube, type in Sean Witten, SHAWN, WITTEN, and then just click down to yesterday's show, which will be the 7th day of November 2017, and there it is. So we have highlights of the big one over Sequoia, and a big preview, of course, of Friday night's opponent against the Anderson County Mavericks in Anderson County, which is down the road in Metro Knoxville. So that's what's going on. Later in the show, we'll be joined by Greg Salyer. Again, it's a busy time, even though the World Series has come and gone, and Astros are crowned the world champions of Major League Baseball. We'll talk about losing Roy Halladay. We'll talk about the Hot Stove League and some of the trade rumors going on in the offseason. Also got the Gold Glove winners for 2017. Those are the players that played well defensively at their position, so we'll talk about that. Also, Dave Anjude stops by a little bit later on, so not with you tomorrow. We've got a previous engagement, so there'll be no show at all tomorrow, and so we thought to keep it going, we would stop by here today and do the show here. Of course, we'll have tomorrow night the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football preview show tomorrow night. But again, the regular show tomorrow, we're going to park it and do it here today from Champions to Chick-fil-A. So anyway, that's what's going on. Quick break. We'll be right back, and we will jump in there and go see what's going on in the world of sports. There's lots happening, of course, and one of the sad stories you have to report is the loss of a gentleman. In this case, Roy Halladay, who died in a plane crash. Crashed in the Gulf of Mexico, and so this guy was a great pitcher and, family man, the whole deal. So sad times for that family and for those two baseball organizations that he pitched for, namely the Toronto Blue Jays and the Philadelphia Phillies. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're live at Champion Chevrolet on show number 631 now of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
Truck Month continues at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City with unbelievable savings on a selection of over 500 new Chevys to choose from. 17 Silverado Crew Cab All-Star, $11,000 off MSRP. 18 Equinox, $6,000 off MSRP. 18 Trax, $4,500 off MSRP. 23% off 17 Cruisin' Malibu. 25% off 17 Sonic and Spark LS. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue. Do you like pulled pork? At Phil's, the pulled pork is cooked low and slow. We cook it all night, but we serve it fast. Our pulled pork is hickory smoked, tender and juicy. We serve the pork either as a sandwich on a bun or platter style with garlic toast. And don't forget to try our pork wings. They taste like a cross between ham and our sweet ribs. It comes as a meal, as an add-on, or part of our meat sampler platters. Pulled pork and pork wings. Just two great reasons to stop by Phil's Dream Pit. Eastern Star exit off I-26, 349-6437. Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us live at Champion Chevrolet. Our verse of the day will go as follows again on this 8th day of November 2017. We dedicate the show to the man who hung on the cross unashamedly. Romans 8, 37, 38, and 39. You can be a conqueror in all things through my love. Let me clear the throat here. Got a frog here this morning. You can be a conqueror in all things through my love. For neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future nor any powers will separate you from my love. So if you ever think that somebody can convince you that once you ask the Lord into your heart that you can be separated from him, there it is. It says, you can be a conqueror in all things through my love. For neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future nor any powers will separate you from my love. There you go. That's our thought for the day, our verse for the day, not a thought for the day. Verse for the day, Romans 8, 37, 38, and 39. GM employee pricing month on selected 2017 Silverados, Traverses, Expresses, Tahoes, and Suburbans. Also here at Champion Chevrolet, 20% off select 2017 Cruze, Malibu, Corvettes, Sonics, and Impalas, or you can go 20% off the select off the sticker, or go 0% for up to 72 months in lieu of the 20%. Either way, you can't go wrong. So you can get the same pricing as if you're a GM employee as they are here at Champion Chevrolet. So it is a great month to save. So you're getting the same discount as if Cletus or Tim or any of these guys want to buy, or Kristen want to buy a vehicle themselves, then you get the same discount they get. You can't beat that. GM employee pricing on select 2017 Silverados, Traverses, Expresses, Tahoes, and Suburbans, 20% off select 2017 Cruzes and Malibus and Corvettes. 20% off a Malibu or 20% off a 2017 Corvette. That's pretty strong right there. Sonics and Impalas, or 0% for up to 72 months in lieu of 20%. All that available again at Champion Chevrolet, right where we are, of course, on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City, or championjc.com is the website to go to. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. We've got college basketball. We've got, we've got the division, high school football playoffs. We've got a story about the Florida State Seminoles trying to scramble to get to the playoffs, to get to the bowl, I should say. They got to have 6 wins, as all the college teams do, to be bowl eligible. They're not there yet. They're, 3-5? So they have rescheduled the game. We'll tell you about that coming up in a second. They will have rescheduled the game that they originally was canceled. Louisiana Monroe, which is Willie and the boys down at Duck Dynasty. It's their team where he went to school. the Robertsons, and so they have rescheduled that game with Florida State. We'll tell you about that coming up in a moment. Here's the Hardee's Basketball Classic bracket. We were there this morning for the press conference announcing we're going to live stream the semifinals and the championship and consolation game on that Friday and Saturday. Here are the brackets, and here's who's playing who. The first couple of games, Crockett is matched up against Unicoi County. Daniel Boone takes on Northview Academy. Jefferson County will play the winner of Crockett Unicoi. Volunteer plays Happy Valley. It'll be North against South at the Hardee's Classic. And also you have the winner of the Boone Northview game taking on Moorestown East. And that's the opening round games. Of course, it's double elimination, so you have a loser's bracket side, and of course the championship bracket. So the semifinals will be at 7 and 8:30 on Friday night, and then our championship will be at 8:30 on Saturday, with the consolation game at 7 o'clock on Saturday. So great tournament. The Hardee's Basketball Classic coming up at Crockett High School November the 20th, 21st, 24th, and 25th. We're also going to be involved in the Chick-fil-A Classic in Elizabethton. That's going to be the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of December. So we're heavily involved in high school basketball. The Jamboree was last night for the ladies. They did that at Daniel Boone. The boys' Jamboree is tomorrow night in Elizabethton, and so we'll tell you all about that coming up here in just a minute as well. We start our show, of course, as we told you, on a sad note. A young man who had a passion for flying airplanes, nearly matched his passion for baseball. Roy Halladay worked, tirelessly to become a dominant pitcher, winning a Cy Young Award in each league, tossing a perfect game and a postseason no-hitter in the same year for the Philadelphia Phillies. When he couldn't pitch at a high level anymore, he walked away from the game and immersed himself in airplanes. The son of a corporate pilot, Roy Halladay quickly got his license to fly despite his wife's misgivings. 8-time All-Star fulfilled his dream when he purchased his own plane last month. Halladay died yesterday when that plane crashed in the Gulf of Mexico. He was 40 years old. So Phillies chairman David Montgomery said, all-star pitcher, all-star person, all-star father, all-star family man. So we lose a good one, Roy Halladay. And that's how this thing rolls. Most of the time we're on here talking about knuckleheads, people doing goofy things and crazy things and dumb things. So as I say all the time, the 2% get all the headlines, the 2% the knuckleheads. The folks like Roy Halladay, the 98% good guys and good ladies, they never get the pub they deserve. We always get the publicity to the goofballs and the screw-ups. So it's nice to be able to hear this gentleman say all-star pitcher, all-star person, all-star father, and all-star family man. Again, Roy Halladay, 40 years old, lost his life yesterday in a plane crash, his private plane in the Gulf of Mexico, and again, he was 40 years old. So our thoughts and prayers obviously go out to his family, and a trying time right now for that family of Roy Halladay, and of course the Phillies organization, and also the organization of the Toronto Blue Jays as well. Food City's Race Against Hunger, there it is. We want to tell you about it. Between now and November the 28th, end of the month, you can contribute to Feed the Hungry here in Northeast Tennessee. Again, from $1, $3, $5 scannable cards available at each Food City checkout. Wishing to make a donation, you just simply select the desired dollar amount, and it is conveniently added to your order total. 100% of the proceeds benefit hunger relief and charitable organizations right here in our region. Approximately 6 meals are provided for every dollar donated, so they can stretch it to the nth degree. Also, here's the cool part for you guys that are watching the show, guys and ladies. When you use your value card at Food City and you make a contribution, you are electronically entered for a chance to win your choice of a spectacular season of racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll be there Monday in the lobby of the Speedway, getting ready for Speedway Lights. We'll talk more about that on Monday. But your choice of a spectacular season of racing at Bristol Motor Speedway, or a $2,500 contribution to the charity of your choice. Last year, raising $363,000 to feed the hungry here in Northeast Tennessee. It's the Food City Annual Race Against Hunger. Here's the logo. You can see it right there. Food City Race Against Hunger. That's coming off the press release, of course. That's through the 28th. So every time and any time you shop at Food City, if you add $1, $3, or $5 to your total, and again, when you do that, you put yourself in the running to win those cool prizes as well. So everybody wins. We feed the hungry, and you get a chance to, again, win a cool season of racing tickets and some prizes at Bristol Motor Speedway, or to contribute $2,500 to the charity of your choice. So everybody wins, we said, in this particular promotion. again with Food City through November the 28th. We're live at Champion Chevrolet. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll be joined by Sean Whitten, again the head football coach of the Elizabethton Cyclones. He joins us by phone coming up. Also at the top of the hour, Greg Sauer is going to join us again with the Major League Baseball update. And also we'll be joined a little bit later on the show by our buddy Dave Angie from the News and Neighbor and the co-host of the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll take a look at college football, the NBA, and the National Hockey League coming up next here on show number 631 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show, live from Champion Chevrolet in North Johnson City.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here are the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. We follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Now available Chick-fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. The Hash Brown Scramble, the first breakfast bowl with Chick-fil-A. The Hash Brown Scramble, a hearty breakfast option made with Chick-fil-A's signature tot-style hash browns, scrambled eggs, a Monterey Jack and cheddar cheese blend, and a choice of sliced Chick-fil-A nuggets or sausage. Served with jalapeno salsa, the scramble can be enjoyed in a bowl or as a burrito. The Hash Brown Scramble Bowl, 30 grams of protein when made with nuggets. The bowl and burrito start at $3.49. Served until 10:30 every morning, Monday through Saturday. The Hash Brown Scramble or burrito, again at Chick-fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 631. We're live at Champion Chevrolet. Let's take a look. By the way, before we get into college football, be sure and check out, because our man on the scene and his partner, Jeremiah Clark and Michael Smith, are doing well. The website now, speedwayandlights.org for Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll be there Monday, broadcasting live from the lobby of BMS, getting ready for Speedway and Lights, which starts next week. So, again, Speedway and Lights, speedwayandlights.org. Check it out. And also, another gentleman they've helped, and they've built his website, ImageSolutionsJC.com. our buddy Chris. And so check those two out. Those are direct results of Appalachian Digital. And you say, well, how can they help me? They help me. They can help you. If you're a big company, small company, if you're Bristol Motor Speedway or a one-horse operation like myself, they can help you. Speedwayandlights.org. Check out how they've built this website, done a phenomenal job for BMS, and also ImageSolutionsJC.com. And you can hear me talk about it all day long, but go check out for yourself. Proofs in the pudding. You can see what they've done. Again, Speedwayandlights.org. So here we go. Let's see what's happening in college football. First off, last night, 2 ball games on a Tuesday night. Buffalo defeated Bowling Green 38-28. Miami of Ohio over the Akron Zips. Miami of Ohio 24, Akron 14. That's a final, of course, from last night. 3 games tonight. You know, as I said yesterday, there was a time when they all played on Saturday. Then they go into starting to play on Friday. Then they go into Thursday. Then Wednesday, and now, for crying out loud, they're playing on Tuesday. So here is Wednesday's games for today. Toledo at Ohio. The Rockets against the Bobcats in Athens, Ohio. Toledo at 8-1. Again, you have Ohio at 7-2. Kent State tonight, the Golden Flashes at 2-7 will be taking on the Broncos of Western Michigan in Kalamazoo. 2-7 Kent State team at Western Michigan 5-4. Eastern Michigan at 3-6 will be at Central Michigan 4-5, and those are the games tonight going on in college football. Let's take a look at the conference standings right now. In the AFCA Division III coaches poll, the top 5 in the country: Mary Hardin number 1, Mount Union number 2, Wisconsin Oshkosh number 3, St. Thomas number 4, and Delaware Valley number 5. In the NAIA football poll, top 5 in the country: St. Francis, Reinhardt, Georgia, Morningside, Iowa, Lindsey Wilson out of Kentucky, and Southern Oregon are all the top 5 in the country in that particular poll. That's the NAIA college football poll. Then let's break down the conferences. In the Southern Conference, you've got Wofford at number 1, Western Carolina 2nd, Furman 3rd. East Tennessee State would be above Chattanooga and VMI. The Bucks play at Samford coming up on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Wofford will be at VMI, Mercer at Western Carolina, the Citadel at Furman, and Greenville-Spartanburg at Greenville, and East Tennessee State plays at Samford on Saturday at 3 o'clock. That's the Southern Conference standings. In the Southeastern Conference, the Western Conference, you have, or Western Division, or the West Division, I should say, Alabama at 6-0, Auburn at 5-1, 1-2. In the East, Georgia at 6-0, South Carolina at 4-3. Who would have thunk it? Starting the season, Will Muschamp and the Gamecocks will be second at this point of the season in the East in the Southeastern Conference. So let's run them down for you. In the West, it's Alabama 6-0, Auburn 5-1. Mississippi State, got a story on Texas A&M coming up here in a second. Mississippi State and LSU at 3-2. You have Texas A&M at 3-3. Kevin Sumlin in trouble, big time. Ole Miss at 2-4, and Arkansas, he's in trouble. Brett Bielema, I should say, at 1-4 for Arkansas. In the East, Georgia 6-0, South Carolina 4-3, Kentucky 3-3, Florida 3-4, Missouri 1-4, and Tennessee and Vanderbilt are 0-5 in the Southeastern Conference standings in conference play. Scheduled this week: Florida at South Carolina, pretty good football game in Columbia. Louisiana at Mississippi, Arkansas at LSU, Georgia at Auburn, that's going to be a good one right there. Kentucky at Vanderbilt, that's got the makings of a good ball game in Nashville. New Mexico, non-conference game at Texas A&M. Alabama, a night game at Mississippi State in Starkville. And Tennessee, a 7:30 kickoff on Saturday at Missouri. So we'll see how they can do on the road against the Missouri Tigers. And again, Missouri right now 1-4. They are 4-5 overall. Tennessee at 0-5 in the league and 4-5 on the season. Big Ten Conference. In the East, Michigan State, Ohio State tied for the lead at 5-1. Then comes Michigan and Penn State at 4-2. Rutgers at 3-3. Maryland 2-4, and the Indiana Hoosiers at 0-6 in the East. In the West, Wisconsin 6-0, Northwestern at 4-2. Then 3-3 clubs are Iowa and the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Purdue at 2-4, Minnesota at 1-5, and Illinois in the cellar at 0-6. Big Ten Conference schedule this week: Indiana at Illinois, Nebraska at Minnesota, Rutgers at Penn State. Here's a good one: Michigan State at Ohio State at noon on Saturday at the Shoe in Columbus, Michigan at Maryland, Iowa, Wisconsin. That's going to be a good one. The Badgers, well, here she comes bringing treats. Iowa, Wisconsin at 3:30, and a night game, Purdue at Northwestern. Big 12 Conference. Here we go. It looks like this. Oklahoma and TCU on top of the league right now at 5-1. Oklahoma State at 4-2. Iowa State at 4-2. West Virginia at 4-2. So you got 3 teams tied for second. Oklahoma and TCU are tied for first. Then comes Kansas State and Texas at 3-3. Texas Tech and Baylor at 1-5. Kansas at 0-6. And the schedule in the Big 12 this week: Texas Tech at Baylor, Oklahoma State at Iowa State. That's going to be a good one. West Virginia travels to Kansas State. That's a trap game for the Mountaineers. 3:30 kickoff in Kansas. Night games: Kansas at Texas, and the big one in the Big 12, TCU, Texas Christian, the Horned Frogs. I like to say that. The Horned Frogs at Oklahoma, coming up again on Saturday. Finally, in the major conferences, let's take a look at the ACC. In the Atlantic Division, Clemson 6-1, North Carolina State 4-1, Boston College 3-3. Florida State, the Seminoles at 3-4, Wake Forest at 2-3, Louisville 2 and Syracuse 2-3 rather, and Louisville at 2-4 in conference play. A very disappointing year for Bobby Petrino and the Louisville Cardinals. In the Coastal Division, Miami at 6-0, Virginia Tech and Virginia at 3-2, Georgia Tech at 3-3, the Pitt Panthers at 2-3. Duke at 1-5, and 0-6 are the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Game tomorrow night: North Carolina at Pitt on a Thursday night game. On Saturday, Duke and Army, North Carolina State at Boston College. The Hokies will be in Atlanta to battle Georgia Tech at a 12:20 kickoff on Saturday. Also, you have Wake Forest at Syracuse, Louisville hosting Virginia. That can be a trap game for the Cavaliers, having a pretty good year. Florida State goes to Clemson, and Notre Dame in Miami to take on the Hurricanes on Saturday night. That's a look at college football. Again, Kevin Sumlin in trouble. We've got a report here that he will not be back as the football coach at Texas A&M after the 2017 season. That according to multiple reports. So they expect A&M expects to move on from Sumlin this year, but not before the end of the season. And so Kevin Sumlin having a tough year, but don't feel too sorry for him. Sumlin has a buyout that sets at $10 million buyout. God. Plenty of money for Hardee's Food, and also for Beanie Weenies and Pop-Tarts from Food City. So $10 million buyout they're going to pay out for this guy to move him on from Texas A&M. So it's not official, but it's pretty close that he will not be back next year, which is pretty much a foregone conclusion. Last but not least, before we take a break, Florida State has not missed out on a bowl game since 1981, when they won 6-5 under 6-year coach Bobby Bowden then. The last time it had a losing season was Bowden's first season way back in 1976. And so the Seminoles have officially rescheduled the game against Louisiana Monroe for December the 2nd at noon. It was scheduled back in September, but canceled when Hurricane Irma made landfall. And so Florida State renewed the game because it has to. The Seminoles for 5-3 wouldn't be a problem. They are 3-5. They got to get 6 wins to get to a bowl, and so they've got their hands full to try and do that. And so the Seminoles would have to win out against Clemson on Saturday, Delaware State, and Florida to get bowl eligible. So they have went back and pulled out Louisiana Monroe and said, we're going to pay you a lot of money to come and get beat on December the 2nd. And so that'll help them increase their chances for Jimbo Fisher and the Seminoles to salvage an otherwise crummy season and get them into the bowl bonanza. But they got to do that. So they have rescheduled that game for December the 2nd in Tallahassee against the team that's been made famous, I guess, by Willie and Jace and Phil Robertson, the boys of Duck Dynasty, at the University of Louisiana at Monroe. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Quick break. We're going to talk Hardee's Classic. I got me a milkshake. I'm going to take a serious stab at it and give me a little swig of. They get a Niller or chocolate?
You got Niller and chocolate. You can give away some.
Right. These guys will take them. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Shannon Phipps from Hardee's in the house here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City.
Bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We're live at Champion Chevrolet. Again, it's GM employee. Thought it was really cool because the young lady saw the man. She got a milkshake to and said, we bought a truck off you. So what are you talking about, Tom? Well, let's go ahead and get the camera centered on the young lassie who's here to hang out with us for a few minutes. And boom, here we go. And let's bring it up and hit this button right here because she's here. And boop,
there I am.
Voila. There she is. Shannon Phipps from Hardee's. So Jay sold hubby a truck, pick-em-up truck. How long ago?
4 years ago.
Jay, time for a new truck. Time to sell him a new one. There we go.
I'm sure he would like that.
I'm trying to help you, Jay. So it's GM employee pricing, by the way, on selected 2017 Silverados, 2017 Traverses, Expresses, Tahoes, and Suburbans. So if you come in and buy one this month, you're going to get the same discount that Jay would get, one of the salesmen, or Tim, or Andy, or any of these folks. So, and you get 20% off. Here's the other special, too. 20% off select Cruises, Malibus, Corvettes, Sonics, and Impalas, or you can get 0% for up to 72 months and lose the 20%. Either way, 20% off the sticker or 0% up to 72 months, which is 6 years, and lose the 20%. Either one of those are a really good deal. So, and she likes these pick-em-up trucks.
More than you know. That's right. We don't scratch Betsy. We don't eat in Betsy. We don't, But yeah. Betsy is a silvery gray, blackish, that charcoal gray.
Betsy is pampered.
Oh, but yes.
When it rains,
Yes. Betsy got her own double-sized garage in our basement when we built our new house. Yeah, we don't need to get her close to anything. She does.
Hardee's Classic at the press conference this morning. We've got games coming up in a couple weeks on Monday, Tuesday, Black Friday, and Saturday. We're going to be there broadcasting again the semifinals on Friday night and the championship for consolation on Saturday. Can't wait. Again, we were there today for the press conference. We went in the gym. They've redone the floor again. It's beautiful in there. They've added even
28.
28th anniversary of the Hardee's Basketball Classic, where the host school is the Crockett Pioneers. That's where the tournament's going to be. Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Here are the brackets. Here's who's playing who. On Monday, you've got a doubleheader. Crockett and Unicoi County. Unicoi County's loaded this year, so is Crockett. The second game, the host team, Crockett plays the first one against Unicoi County. Second game, Daniel Boone takes on Northview Academy. That's on Monday. On Tuesday, the 21st, we have one more game. I'm sorry, let me go back here. There's one game on, three games, triple header, I'm sorry, let's start over. On Monday, 5:30, Sullivan North and Sullivan South. 7 o'clock, Crockett Unicoi. 8:30, Boone and Northview. That's, of course, bracket come out in the paper tomorrow, we're speaking for all this. That's on Monday. On Tuesday, you have Jefferson County playing the winner of the Crockett Unicoi game. Also on Tuesday, you have Morristown East playing the winner of the Boone Northview game. And then they move into the semifinals on Friday night, and then the championship on Saturday. Of course, they play all the way from 9th place, 7th place, 5th place, 3rd place, of course, and then we'll broadcast that with the consolation game, and then the championship on Saturday. So the 28th annual, I know you can't see this, but this gives you an idea. Here's the Hardee's Classic, and I don't know why I showed you that because you can't hardly read it, and my writing leaves a little bit desired because I was writing fast under the tournament press conference. But anyway, bottom line is Hardee's going to sponsor it again, the 28th annual. Obviously, from a marketing standpoint, you guys and ladies get a lot of mileage out of this, don't you?
We love it. We love it. The 28th year of the Hardee's Classic. Great thing for the community there. The people there really support this tournament. They really support our stores in the area. Of course, we have the two in Johnson City, the one in Jonesboro there that get the most, I guess, bang for their buck out of the tournament. But all the schools are coming from an area that we have stores.
Yeah, and so it's all good, and everybody benefits, of course, and so it's a chance to showcase some great basketball, and of course the host school is Crockett, and they love you guys to
They smile when we come. Yes, we'd love to be a partner with Crockett. Yes.
Absolutely, and with good reason, because they do a wonderful job, and so Crockett will be the host school. Ticket prices are how much?
$7 Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. $8 on Saturday.
Yeah, and so it's all ready to go. It's going to be on Monday, as we said, the Thanksgiving weekend. Monday, or Thanksgiving week. Monday the 20th, Tuesday the 21st, Friday the 24th, and the championship Saturday will be, obviously, that Saturday the 25th. Tell me what's going on at Hardee's right now. There's lots of good things at Hardee's.
Oh, for breakfast right now, we're featuring 2 for $2.50 sausage and egg biscuit. So that's our special right now. And for lunch, we have a new $5 All-Star meals. And those have just really taken off. People love being able to come in and get an entire meal for $5. And there's different choices on there. We have one that has chicken tenders in it. We have one with a hot dog, one with a double cheeseburger, spicy chicken. So all different. There's 4 different choices, different configurations. You can get them. All come with fries, drink, and a cookie for $5. Just all in a little box.
I had one the other day coming back down the road, and I got the double cheeseburger and the hot dog, which really filled me up.
I know, for $5 you can't beat that with the fry and the cookie and the drink.
You can't make it for $5.
I don't think so. I don't
Cheeseburger and a hot dog.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Good stuff. And so, going into the holidays, folks, tell me about Hardee's. If you've got an event coming up that you want to come by and get some chicken or get whatever you need, you can help them.
That's right. Chicken tenders are great to take to any kind of office party you have, or in the evening you've got to be at some sort of event, you don't have time to do anything. Just grab some chicken tenders. I grab chicken tenders and throw them in the crock pot. Keep them warm. Yeah, I do.
You take chicken tenders and put them in the crock pot.
Keep them warm. Just put them on low.
What about if you want to nuke them? If I want to get home and
Well, you can nuke them, yes, but if I'm going to take them to an event, I put them in the crock pot to keep them warm. So I take them to the event. So that's a good thing. Also, tailgating, or I know football's almost over, but if they're going to a basketball game, they need something to fill the kids up on the way. We have all different size chicken tender boxes. We have the 5-piece, the 10-piece, 15. We do 100 pieces of chicken.
100 pieces of chicken for how much?
I don't know on that one. Yeah, it's not bad, whatever it is. So it's just the Shannon show now. Great. So, I know. So I don't know very much about sports, but we can talk about. We can talk about Hardee's, and we can talk about the classic that's coming up. We can talk about Black Friday and how excited I am for all the sales, and I've almost got my Christmas shopping done. But anyway, you have a milkshake that I brought you. So then we have chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry milkshakes, and we talked about before that people like the milkshakes in the winter because they get warm in their car and they need to cool off a little bit, so they get them a good Niller milkshake as they come through the drive-thru.
That's why I'm trying to troubleshoot this.
In a minute, I fear that you're going to take my headset and I'm going to be done. Is that what's going to happen? Jeremiah's saying, take her headset. Jalapeno's already passed, but we'll talk about, we have the Frisco breakfast sandwich. It's also a nice thing that would really fill you up for breakfast in the winter months. That's on the grilled sourdough bread, and it has the deli ham, the American cheese, the Swiss cheese, the egg, and that's a featured item right now on breakfast, along with our 2 for $2.50 sausage and egg biscuits.
There you go. So I guess I'm just going to talk loud because we'll have to go to the break and fix this because I'm not sure everything looks good to me.
You're going to take my headset, Jeremiah. He's going to take my headset. I'm done. I'm done.
You can stay as long as you want. But Hardee's does what you do. Get a lot of mileage. This is a great marketing tool for Hardee's over the Thanksgiving weekend. They hear Hardee's over and over when people report the scores and call the games and do what we do to promote Hardee's.
Facebook Live it. Yeah.
Sports show. We'll have the headset fixed, but they have to fix here as soon as the break. We'll call Jeremiah and SOS. I haven't had to call him for about 3 weeks.
Oh, that's a record. Oh, you was going to get a button. Let's talk about gift cards. Hardee's gift cards for Christmas. We have Hardee's gift cards that people can come get in any increment for Christmas. A lot of times, sometimes the churches want to come and get them to give them out as small gifts at church. We can do $2 gift card, we can do a $5 gift card, we can do a $100 gift card. So we have all the gift cards there for Christmas right now. We also have fundraisers that the schools can do. We have all you can eat biscuit and gravy fundraiser, and we have the Share Night fundraiser. So we have a couple fundraisers if any nonprofit organization wants to come and be a part of that.
Tell us about the Share Night fundraiser.
Share Night fundraiser is the night that you pick. If someone comes in and says, I want 20% of my purchase to go to the Tom Taylor fund, then we would Tom Taylor get a new microphone fund, then we would we write a check at the end of the night for the 20% that everyone has come in and they wanted their 20% of their purchase to go back to you. Not you really, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Just in case you want to make a donation to the Tom Taylor headphone, it's like $20.
Knock that out real quick. The all-you-can-eat biscuit and gravy fundraiser, and that is when the organization sells tickets for $5 for all-you-can-eat biscuit and gravy and a soft drink or a coffee, and they make $2 off every ticket that is sold.
Which one? I guess both are well received. Which one really gets people?
The all-you-can-eat biscuit and gravy. Somebody thinks all I can eat biscuit and gravy for $5. Yeah, that's it. Soft drink and a coffee or yeah, that's it. Yep.
Good stuff, and that's all coming up at any and all Hardee's website. We've got a website for Hardee's.
Hardee's.com.
Hardee's.com. So this is okay. As I told you, I came through and I got the double cheeseburger and the hot dog all-star meal. Then about 2 weeks ago, when it got me a big old thick burger, it was good. Got me some onion rings. Chased it with some. Tell you what, they got great tea too at Hardee's. Really good tea. So. Good. I topped it off with wasn't a Niller, but I got me a
chocolate shake.
Why are the shakes so good at Hardee's?
Because they're made with real ice cream and real milk, and we actually mix them from ice cream.
I got this Niller. Jay got him one of the sales. We got him he got him a chocolate. She brought a couple of Nillers. You brought some coupons.
I did. I brought some coupons. I did. My best friend Tim up there. In case my husband Benji needs a new truck, I have to keep my friendship with Tim active. Oh, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah. No. Mama needs diamonds. No. Sure. Okay. You're very welcome. I'll see you another day.
Next week we can talk. This is our homework. So next week, last year we heard about all what the little girl got for Christmas. Puff and stuff or something.
Yes.
So next week we'll kind of run down what's going on with Christmas shopping at the Phipps house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm almost done. Have I told you that already? Almost done. I know. One thing Carly's worried about is since we moved, if Santa Claus is going to be able to find her. Yeah, she's terribly concerned that Santa's going to leave her presents at the old house. Yes. And they have a dog, so she's worried about the dog getting her presents. Okay.
Quick break. We'll be right back. We're live at Champion Chevrolet on show number 631. They said it wouldn't work. Tom Miller Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
We're back into the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's see if we got this thing rolling. Nope, it is not working, so not sure what's wrong with the headset, but we got a bad headset, and so looks like we're getting ready to go make a purchase, I suppose. So let's see here. I'll tell you what we're going to do until my next guest gets here. Jeremiah said improvise, so that we can. We'll improvise all day long. There we go. So we're now on to another headset. I know you don't care out there wherever you are, but we're trying to pull this thing off. By the way, speaking of Jeremiah and Michael, you got to check out their website they're doing for Bristol Motor Speedway. I can certainly tell you how good they are all day long, and they are with me and my show and my social media, but you need to check out for yourself speedwayandlights.org. It's an incredible website. Of course, we'll be there Monday in the lobby broadcasting live from Bristol Motor Speedway, getting ready for that event, the #1 Christmas light attraction in the Southeast, Speedway and Lights. So check out their website, speedwayandlights.org. It's being handled, I guess, what you called, and facilitated by Appalachian Digital, AppalachianDigital.com. And also check out ImageSolutionsJC.com. So here's a prime example for Jeremiah Michael's company that they can handle Bristol Motor Speedway. They can handle a one-horse operation like the Tom Taylor Sports Show and ImageSolutionsJC.com. So either or, they do it and do it well. I can tell you that. So anyway, check it out, SpeedwayandLights.org or ImageSolutionsJC.com. And again, check it out for yourself. Before we go to the break, we'll come back again and get ready to talk to Sean Whitten. And also Greg Sayers due to stop by and talk baseball. NBA winners last night: Memphis, Sacramento, Denver, the Cavaliers, the Dallas Mavericks, New Orleans, Toronto, the Knickerbockers, the San Antonio Spurs, and Philadelphia all get wins in the NBA. And the National Hockey League, Nashville skates past Columbus in Columbus 3-1. Other winners on the ice: Buffalo, the Hurricanes, the Pittsburgh Penguins, Edmonton, St. Louis, Montreal, Vancouver, and the Los Angeles Kings all get wins on the ice last night in the National Hockey League. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're live at Champion Chevrolet inside the studio, inside the showroom at Champion Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the state. Nobody sells more Chevrolets than this company right here. From Memphis to Mountain City, or Mountain City to Memphis, again, Champion Chevrolet, numero uno, the Volunteer State. We'll be right back with more right after this on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, live from Champion Chevrolet.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
Do you need an event catered? At Phil's Dream Pit, we cater for gatherings over 50 people. Weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, company picnics, sporting banquets, to name a few. We can set up, clean up, and of course serve. We also offer value packs that include all the food. You pick that up and serve it yourself. Check out our webpage at philsdreampit.com. That's philsdreampit.com. Phil's Dream Pit, Eastern Star exit on I-26, open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we're a phone call away at 423-349-6437. 349-6437. Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Now available Chick-fil-A, the Crossings of North Johnson City. The Hash Brown Scramble, the first breakfast bowl with Chick-fil-A. The Hash Brown Scramble, a hearty breakfast option made with Chick-fil-A's signature Todd-style hash browns, scrambled eggs, a Monterey Jack and cheddar cheese blend, and a choice of sliced Chick-fil-A nuggets or sausage. Served with jalapeno salsa, the scramble can be enjoyed in a bowl or as a burrito. The Hash Brown Scramble Bowl, 30 grams of protein when made with nuggets. The bowl and burrito start at $3.49. Served until 10:30 every morning, Monday through Saturday. The Hash Brown Scramble or burrito, again at Chick-fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Hey, Tom, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. My headset's still out, so I'll just talk loud. And I guess I'm thinking what happened mid-sentence, it blew, and so we'll have to go get us a new headset. And it happens. These headsets have had a lot of mileage on them, I can tell you that. So 600 and some shows, I guess it's time to probably go out, isn't it?
Yeah, probably so.
It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, when you get to that magic number there, where you have, are you going to just like skip a day, or are you going to have a show that day? How are you going to handle that?
The magic number?
Yeah, the 6.
Hey, Pastor, he says we have a show on the day that will be 666.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
No.
I don't want to be on that show.
No, I won't be doing a show on the day of 666.
Okay.
No.
Okay, we'll just skip that one.
That'll be a day off or something. I'll come up with something.
I don't want to be on 667 either, because everybody knows really what that one is. So.
That's exactly right. So we just skip the whole thing, just go to 680, keep trucking to 660.
Yeah, that's like, I don't want to stay in the 14th floor of a hotel either, because you know really what that is.
It's one floor above the 13th.
Yeah, but you don't have a 13th usually, so
They don't?
no, usually they skip it. So
Seriously?
yeah, a lot of places they do.
I did not know. Are you being serious?
Yes, I'm serious. I am serious as I can be. I have been in places where in the elevator it has 12 and 14 but no 13.
I think, okay.
I've seen that. I have seen that.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
Things to learn when we bring our guest in. Let me just say this off the mic. Shannon said, well, I'll just take over the show because my headset's working. This isn't. Okay. And she did for all intents and purposes, and that's okay. And then Greg says, well, I'll just take over the show since your headset's working. What are they trying to tell me? What is the subliminal, or maybe not so subliminal message in here? When Andy gets over, Andy says, I'll just take over your show. So, anyway, it's all good.
Yeah.
We're here and coming out of the World Series. Of course, the obvious, yesterday we lose, as the Phillies general manager says, an all-star pitcher, all-star family man, and just an all-star man, Roy Halladay. And we lose a good one yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a terrible tragedy. I couldn't believe it when I saw that come up on my phone yesterday afternoon. And I always go back to that playoff game against the Reds where he pitched that no-hitter. And, I had that game recorded. I was going to watch it. It was an afternoon game. I was working that day. I was going to watch it later that night. And I was intentionally keeping away from everything, not wanting to know the results. And somebody came in and told me and said, you really don't want to watch that game. And I didn't watch it. Went in to hit delete. But from my understanding, he pumped strike one to every batter, and I mean didn't miss a beat. And they stood there with the bat on their shoulder. And when a pitcher can do that, he's really got everything working. So just a tragic loss. 40 years old. 2 sons and a wife, and just a tragic loss for Roy Halladay.
Yep, sure is. We lose a good one. Not only a good baseball man, but a good family man, and a good man in the Phillies. Of course, he pitched for the Phillies and the Toronto Blue Jays in their organization, and had some incredible numbers. Let me read this real quick because it's the things that he accomplished, and this is good to get it right here because he a dominant pitcher. Cy Young in each league, which right there you stop it. Very few can even say they did that. Some have never won one. He won one in each league. He tossed a perfect game and a postseason no-hitter in the same year for the Phillies. So when he couldn't pitch at the level he wanted to anymore, he walked away from the game. He knew when it was time. He didn't hang on. He just kind of rode off into the sunset. But a Cy Young award in both leagues, a perfect game, and a postseason no-hitter in the same year for the Philadelphia Phillies. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just be honest. When he was playing, and I knew the Reds were going to have to play the Phillies, I always looked to see if they were going to have to face him because didn't want to do it. Did not want my team to have to face Roy Halladay.
He's one of those guys that you just dread him. You saw his turn come up in the rotation. You go to their town, they come to your town. They go, okay, third game is Roy Halladay. At that point they had Cole Hamels and they had there's 3 of them.
Cliff Lee.
Cliff Lee, thank you, and Hamels. I mean, that was a pretty strong threesome back in the day for the Phillies.
Yeah, and he was one of those guys too that if you had an all-star third baseman or somebody like that, he might be a little gimpy that day. He might just decide, well, I tweaked something there warming up, and I just don't think I can go today, maybe because he didn't want to have to go have an 0-for against Roy Halladay.
Stiffness there. Can I take off, Coach?
Yeah.
He was that dominant of a pitcher, no question. So anyway, we lose a good one, and our thoughts and prayers obviously go out to his wife and his children, and only 40 years old, very untimely passing of Roy Halladay. One of the things a lot of folks take a lot of pride in as a Major League Baseball player are the Gold Gloves. That tells you, of course, that these folks were very good defensively at their position, and so Major League Baseball announcing the 2017 Rawlings Gold Glove winners yesterday. There were 6, count them, 6 first-time winners. So the teams that had the most, Greg's getting ready to run them down for us, the Angels, the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, Kansas City, and Minnesota were the teams with multiple Gold Glove winners. Now, I thought this was interesting. No Gold Glove winners from either the Dodgers or the Astros, 2 teams in the World Series. I wonder if that's ever happened. I mean, that's really weird to have 2 teams as good as they are in the World Series and neither team had a Gold Glove winner this year.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think either one of those teams will be shut out in the other awards that we're going to see coming up. But, that is true for the Gold Gloves this year. And, and I think for the most part, they got it right. I think you could argue with a couple of them, but I think for the most part, the guys that won were the guys that should have won. Nolan Arenado, he doesn't know what it's like not to win a Gold Glove. He's won it every year that he's been in the major leagues. So that's just unbelievable. So when he came up National League third baseman, as we're watching the show last night, I said, that's a no-brainer. Arenado's going to get it. And, of course, he did. So, looking at the list, like I said, there's really not much you can argue with. I still think it's a shame Billy Hamilton didn't win it. I think this is 2 years in a row he's been robbed. But other than that, I think you can say that, they got it right. Yeah, well, I mean, so I watch the Reds more than I watch the other teams. So I will admit to that. I do have but if you watch this guy day in and day out, you have to wonder, why is he not winning a Gold Glove? He nobody that I have seen plays a better defense in the outfield than Billy Hamilton. The guys who were 1 and 2 in all of Major League Baseball in outfield assists did not win Gold Gloves yesterday. Billy Hamilton and Adam Duvall. So
we're talking to Greg Selliers here on the stream of the Major League Baseball update. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll check in with our buddy Dave Angie from the News and Neighbor. Again, we're talking Major League Baseball. And again, we understand, we know that our headset's out, so we're trying to do the best we can with a one headset kind of operation today. So suffice it to say, I'm heading somewhere after the show to buy another headset. So that's just kind of how it rolls. That's part of it. So let's run down first off in the National League, even though Hamilton got shut out and Duval got shut out. There is a red, unlikely red, I think, but a red nonetheless. It's in the Gold Glove category. So take it away. Who won with the National League?
Yeah, Tucker Barnhart, first Gold Glove for the Reds at catcher. You know, I really thought it would be Buster Posey. I really thought he would get it. I didn't think Molina would get this one. I think he's he may get another one, but who knows? But you know, he's getting a little age on him, and maybe it's time for somebody else to start winning those. But Tucker Barnhart at catcher, first time. Glad to see that happen. Couldn't happen to a better guy. Good guy. Paul Goldschmidt, first base, totally deserved it. DJ LeMahieu, that was a no-doubter. Nolan Arenado, of course, I already talked about him. Brandon Crawford, I knew that one as well. I mean, that one was one that I thought was just a given. You know, Marcelo Zuna, Ender Inciarte, and Jason Hayward in the outfield. Jason Hayward wins almost every year as well. This is his fifth. So, you know, he almost doesn't know what it's like not to win it as well. And then Zach Greinke. You know, I thought the pitcher one could have gone to any one of those three guys that were up for it this year. But Zach Greinke definitely deserved it as well. American League, you know, Martin Maldonado, that one was a surprise. You know, I really didn't see that one coming, but glad that he was able to do that, get his first one. Eric Hosmer, Brian Dozier. You know, you think of Brian Dozier as a home run hitter more than a fielder, but he has played just almost flawless second base, and very deserving. Third base, I kind of thought maybe Manny Machado would pull it out, but he did not. Evan Longoria got his third one this year, and very deserving as well. Andrelton Simmons, he may be the best defensive player in all of baseball.
Oh, really? Shortstop?
Yeah, he is phenomenal. You know, he beat out Francisco Lindor for the Gold Glove this year, and Lindor was the Platinum Glove winner for the American League last year. So he was given the award for the best defensive player in all of the American League. And he came in second or third, we don't know really which, for the Gold Glove this year. Of course, Alex Gordon, perennial Gold Glove. Byron Buxton got his first one. I don't think it'll be his last one.
Center fielder for the Twins.
Yeah, the guy has speed like you wouldn't believe. And when he was interviewed last night, he said his brother can still outrun him. But his brother's also in the military, so he's forced to run a lot. Yeah, I don't think that'll be his last one. Of course, Mookie Betts, that one I thought would happen too. As we were discussing it last night, Hannah thought maybe Aaron Judge would get it, but Mookie Betts pulls that one out. And then Marcus Stroman, glad to see him get his first one. That was a little bit of a surprise as well.
We're talking to Greg Salyer. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet. Coming up, we'll check in with Dave Andre again for the news and neighborhood. We'll talk a little sports, and we'll run down the high school football brackets for not only Tennessee but Virginia. Talk about those coming up here in a little while. Also a story, the investigation continues into college basketball. Got a couple more guys today that's fell by the wayside as a result of being let go by their respective colleges or universities because of the ongoing scandal that's rocked college basketball. We'll tell you all about that coming up here in a few minutes. Also, we'll go back and rehash the jamboree last night at Daniel Boone for the ladies. The guys will play tomorrow night in Elizabethton. It'll be the Big Seven against the Three Rivers again tomorrow night for the boys. The girls played last night at Daniel Boone. Let you know who won. Does it matter? Probably not. But we'll throw the scores out anyway. But it's a chance to get out there. The girls, no more scrimmages, no more intra-squad scrimmages. It's lights are on and crowds in the stands, and you got a little taste of what's coming. But does it matter what the score was? Probably not. But we're going to talk about it anyway coming up here in a few minutes. Other award finalists to Major League Baseball. What do you got?
Yeah, you know, these awards are coming up pretty soon. Player Choice Awards are tonight. Silver Sluggers tomorrow. Defensive Players on Friday, and then we get to the real, you know, the Rookies of the Year, the Managers of the Year, Cy Youngs, MVPs, and those type of awards. So we have the finalists now. We have the top three in each of these categories. So for the most valuable player in the American League, the guy that I've been saying all along is going to win it is Jose Altuve. He is one of the three finalists, and I think very, deserving of that. I've been saying all along that he would be there. Aaron Judge is another one, and a little bit of a surprise for me, but if you look at his numbers, maybe not. Jose Ramirez is the other finalist in the American League.
Now, let me give him proper credit. I remember I was driving over thinking, okay, we talked about this, the fact that he came out of Greenville, we talked about him, and it was right around Mother's Day, so it was way back early in the season, and it was in May, that Greg sat there when we were Chick-fil-A and said, one of your MVP, because I periodically throughout the season, who's doing real good right now? He said, keep an eye on the guy in Houston, Jose Altuve, that this guy could be the MVP before it's all said and done. He's one of the three finalists, so that's why we have Greg on every week, because he knows what he's talking about. Very good reference points. That's your three. And of course, Judge kind of came out of nowhere, had a phenomenal year, but very much deserving of what he had 52 home runs. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. 52 home runs. That's a rookie record, and led the American League in home runs, and also led the league in with scoring 128 runs and had 127 walks. Now, the only problem with Judge is he also led the American League with 208 strikeouts. I actually led Major League Baseball with 208 strikeouts this year.
So Altuve, Ramirez, and Judge are your candidates in the American League. National League are
Paul Goldschmidt from the Arizona Diamondbacks, good all-around player. I won a Gold Glove yesterday, so that's a benefit to him as well. Another one, Giancarlo Stanton. I've been talking about him all along. I said the home runs would perhaps get him that award this year. 59 home runs, most in the major since 2001. That's big, so that's huge for him. And if you think about it, the gap between him and the second place finisher in the National League for home runs is 20. Cody Bellinger had 39 and finished second in home runs in the National League. So he hit 20 more home runs than anyone else in the National League last year. The other finalist, Joey Votto of the Cincinnati Reds. I told you, Tom. I told you he would be in at least the top 5. He's in the top 3. I think if the Reds had done a little better this year, he might win it, and he still might. But it's hard for a last place team to win that award.
See, for my money, that's who I vote for, because this guy carried a bad team. Obviously, the Reds are awful, and so he took this team on his back for yet another year and carried him. So, yes, I've been a long-time Reds fan. No, I'm not a Reds fan now that you get rid of Brian Price. So at least back another year, so I'm not going to like him for another year. But I agree with Greg. To me, Stanton's incredible numbers. Obviously, Goldschmidt, incredible numbers. But Joey Votto, I think he's got the numbers highlighted. This guy carried this team, a last-place team. Now, the argument again is, do you give it to a guy that was on a winning team, or do you give it to a guy who put his team on his back and carried a team? If you're the MVP, that means I go with the guy that took his team on his back and carried him, whether it's a pitcher or a hitter. In this case, it's a batter in the form of Joey Votto. So, what was his numbers this year?
Yeah, he led the National League with 134 walks. He led the league in on-base percentage at .454 and in OPS at 1.032. So those are not shabby numbers at all. OPS is the one that they look at. I mean, that's the one number that a lot of these guys look at and say, this is what I want to lead in, and he did.
OPS, for those out there may not know, means
on base plus slugging percentage.
Plus slugging percentage. And so, well, and here's the other thing too. Here's the guy that got put on the finalists, the MVP, on a team that didn't make the playoffs. So, and they're terrible, one of the worst teams in the league. So, anyway, I would agree with it that Joey Votto should be a candidate, and for my money, he should be the MVP. Now, folks argue that point. It's not a terrible team. Again, my criteria is if you're the MVP, you carried that team. So that's me, and he probably won't win it just because I said it. But anyway, Cy Young Award winners and pitching in the American League, you go to.
Corey Kluber is there for the Indians, Chris Sale for the Red Sox, and Luis Severino for the Yankees. Now, if you look at the sheer numbers, I think you got to probably go with either Kluber or Sale. I didn't realize, though, until I started looking at this, that Severino's only 23 years old. Extremely young pitcher, extremely talented pitcher. had a 2.98 ERA over 31 starts. The Yankees haven't had a guy do that since 1997. So great season for him. If I had to pick, I would guess that Corey Kluber would probably win, just because of the last few starts for Chris Sale. Before the season ended, he was revved up a little bit in his last few starts, and unfortunately that's what these voters will remember, what happened lately. And he had a phenomenal season, though. I mean, the guy had a 2.90 ERA, 214 in the third innings pitched, struck out 308 batters. So, I'll take that any year. And but like I said, his last few starts were kind of rough.
These, by the way, are not Greg's picks. These are coming from Major League Baseball. These are the official finalists from Major League Baseball. So, because we have talked about this all year off and on, who he thought, but this is not who he thinks. He is reacting to what Major League Baseball said. Here's our three finalists in each category. The Cy Young for the National League. Who are the three folks?
Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. There was no doubt about that. I did kind of wonder with him being on the disabled list for a short period of time with some back issues, but he led the National League in wins with 18. There wasn't a 20-game winner this year, which is kind of unusual, but he led the National League in wins, and but then he's got two Nationals that's there with him. Max Scherzer, who has also won a Cy Young award as well. I mean, this guy had 15 games this year with 10 or more strikeouts. That's phenomenal. And then the third finalist is Steven Strasburg, also from the Nationals, who finished the season, I guess you could say, almost the opposite of Chris Sale. He finished really strong. His last 8 starts, he had a 5-1 record with a 0.84 ERA. That's pretty good.
That's pretty strong. All right, Manager of the Year, the three candidates I'm going to tell you right now are the three. Paul Molitor, the Twins. These guys lose 100-plus games last year. Not much changing in the roster. Greg talked about that throughout the season. He said, look, it's pretty much the same team. I don't know what he did or what he said, but he flipped the switch, and the Twins, as you remember, we ended up being a wild card team playing and losing to the Yankees. But Molitor, I mean, any of those three are good. But Hinch with the Astros, of course, you know what they did to win the World Series, and then Terry Francona, until they had the meltdown against the Yankees, had a pretty good run too. So, out of those three, who would you take?
You can make an argument for any of those three. I really think you can. I think it'll probably be AJ Hinch. Yeah, I think he'll probably get it. I mean, now we got to remember too. Now these awards were voted on before the playoffs, right at the end of the season, before the playoffs. So what they did in the playoffs really doesn't matter at all. But I still think Hinch may edge out Molitor and Francona.
And do you like that? Do you think that's right, that these guys are candidates for these awards and went into postseason play, and basically what they did after the end of the regular season, it doesn't even count because they voted in. So do you agree with that, disagree with that?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's a seasonal award. It shouldn't have anything to do with what they do in the postseason. So I kind of like the fact that they do that.
National League managers are
Bud Black for the Rockies, Torey Lovullo of the Diamondbacks, and Dave Roberts of the Dodgers. Somebody in the National League West is going to win it.
That's a safe bet. Yep. Rockies, the D-backs, or Dave Roberts for the Dodgers, and I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
Good arguments on those two.
Lovullo, I mean, first-year manager, which is interesting that he gets nominated in his first year. But, he took his team, they won 24 more games in 2017 than they did in 2016. Not quite what Molitor did, but for a first-year guy, that's pretty strong. So, I would think any one of those three guys could win it. Once again, I think probably Dave Roberts has the advantage because the Dodgers were just so dominant this year, except for that 2-week period there in August where the bottom just kind of fell out. Yeah, they were just a dominant team. So I would think maybe Dave Roberts has the upper leg on that one.
I got a couple more here. Rookie of the Year in the American League and the National League. Who's your Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, these are no-brainers. I mean, you almost feel sorry for the two other guys that are finalists here. Andrew Benintendi and Trey Mancini are the other finalists for Rookie of the Year in the American League. And they both had good, solid seasons, but neither of them had the season Aaron Judge had. So definitely, I think Judge is going to win that. National League, same way. I mean, the three guys are Josh Bell, Paul DeYoung of the Cardinals, and Cody Bellinger of the Dodgers. I think, again, it's going to be a runaway, and Cody Bellinger is going to win.
We're going to Greg Sally. Got a couple more minutes here. Hall of Fame, modern era ballot. Modern era, I should say.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 10 people on this ballot. These are guys who were either players and and weren't elected through the normal process, or an executive of some type. And here's the guys. Let me just give you the names, and then we can talk about it a little bit. It could be none. Yeah, they have to get. There will be a panel who will evaluate them, and they have to get 75% of the votes. So there'll be 16 people on this panel. They have to get at least 12 votes to get in. And the name, I mean, these are big names: Steve Garvey, Tommy John, Don Mattingly, Jack Morris, Dale Murphy, Dave Parker, Ted Simmons, Luis Tiant, Alan Trammell, and then the executive is Marvin Miller. Now, here's what I think will happen, and what I think will happen is not what I want to happen. Each of the voters have 5 votes, so they can vote for 5 of these 10 if they want to. They won't, but they could. It's extremely hard for a player to get in this way. Extremely hard. What we have seen in the past is the executives or the managers get in, and the players usually get shut out. I mean, the only one I can remember in recent years was Ron Santo was elected this way. There was another one just a few years ago as well, but I have a feeling Marvin Miller will get in. Would I vote for him? No. I think he did more to harm baseball than anybody in baseball history. But I think he'll get in. Now, as far as these players go, I mean, you can make a huge argument for all of them. The guys that I think have the best shot, Jack Morris. Jack Morris is one of the only players in Major League Baseball history to receive over 60% of the vote in his regular Hall of Fame balloting and not get in. So I have a feeling they will take that into consideration. Jack Morris may slide in. Go with another Tiger. I think Alan Trammell deserves it. If you look at Alan Trammell's numbers, they're much better than Ozzie Smith, who's already in the Hall of Fame, and they are comparable with Barry Larkin, who is in the Hall of Fame as well.
See, if it was me, I would look strong as Steve Garvey and Don Mattingly and probably Dale Murphy.
Dale Murphy is one of the guys that would get my vote if I had a vote, for sure. He was dominant in the 80s. Other than Mike Schmidt, I can't think of another player in the 80s who was as dominant a player as Dale Murphy was. 2 consecutive MVPs. If you look at his numbers for that decade of the 80s, he led in pretty much everything. I think Schmidt might have beat him in a couple things, but he led in pretty much everything. To me, when you look at the Hall of Fame, you look at a player who was a dominant player, and also a character guy, I think, as well. And it's Dale Murphy. He deserves to be there. So I would think he should be in. Another guy I would probably cast a vote for, and it only comes down to his batting average, his career average, is Dave Parker. I mean, the guy could hit. Yeah, he could hit.
I told you that story. Remember the story I told about my little brother?
Mm-hmm.
God, stood in line for days. Charleston, West Virginia, where I'm from, the Charleston Charlies, to get a rookie guy by the name of Dave Parker's signature on one of those little small Hillerich and Bradsby bats. He wrote it. I took it home to my little brother and said, "Hey, look what I got, man. I got you." And I stood in line. I was in junior high. I should say. He was in grade school. Stood in line like for an hour to get his autograph. Signed it out. He's with a ballpoint pen. And all of a sudden, look. He went, "I hate Dave Parker." I said, "Oh, really?" So I just walked over because we shared the same bedroom, just shut the bedroom door, took a pair of pants out of my drawer, put it underneath the door so nobody could hear the noise, and I kicked his butt. The good book was weeping and wailing and
gnashing of teeth.
Because I stood. Wiped on it, said, "I hate Dave Barton." Scrubbed it off his bat. I said, "Okay,
wow.
Right, let's shut the door. Let's law the jungle here. Let's take care of things." So that's my memory of Dave Barton being played. No question. So now, when will we find out if any of these guys get in?
Yeah, this is going to be announced on December the 10th. So it'll be on the MLB Network at 6 o'clock on December 10th. So we'll find out then. But I think they have a very strong group of guys this year. I mean, you mentioned Mattingly and Garvey. Ted Simmons. I mean, if you look at his numbers, I remember him very well, but I didn't realize that his numbers were as comparable as they are to guys who are in the Hall of Fame. But they are. So if you're strictly going by numbers, then maybe you need to consider Ted Simmons as well.
And Luis Tiant, the guy was a character.
Oh yeah.
Defective picture, sure, but he was a character too.
Yeah, I'd love to watch him play.
Got 2 minutes here. Tell me about the
2 minutes.
What we got going on there?
All right, so teams had the opportunity to offer the guys who are going to be free agents for them this year what is called a qualifying offer. This year, that would be a one-year contract for $17.4 million. So if you wonder how they come up with this $17.4 million figure, they take the mean of the 125 top paid players in the game, and that's the number. That's where it comes from. So if the player decides to accept that offer, he has a one-year contract for that amount. If he decides to reject that offer and continue on to be a free agent, then the team will receive compensation when another team signs him. So it almost puts a black mark against him to say, okay, I'm gonna lose a draft pick or two if I sign this guy. Now, the good thing is for the teams is first round draft picks are all protected now. It used to be before this year, the top 10 picks were protected, but if you picked later on in the first round, you could lose your first round pick. That's not the case anymore. These would be picks between rounds 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 that the teams would lose. But that's quite a chunk of change, $17.4 million, and so the thing is, you can only be offered this one time in your career. If it's happened before, it won't happen again. It can only happen to a player who's been on your team for the entire year. So if you got some guy in the middle of the season, let's say J.D. Martinez, who's going to be a free agent this year, but Arizona picked him up in the middle of the year, they could not offer him this deal. So so several guys got these offers, so I'll just mention a few of them. Carlos Santana for the Indians got one. The Royals made 3 of them. Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, and Lorenzo Cain all got this offer. Lance Lynn from the Cardinals, Alex Cobb with the Rays, Greg Holland with the Rockies, Jake Arrieta, and Wade Davis for the Cubs. So these are the guys that received these offers this year. So if they say no, I'll try to do a little better elsewhere, then their teams can maybe pick up some draft picks, and who knows what will happen there.
So the team they're with in this case, the Cubs, Arrieta, they offered this to him. He says no. Then it's like, okay, then you're on your own. Basically, we're going to give you a little security blanket because you're a free agent. We want you to hang around. So for 1 year, we're going to pay you $17 million to stay with us, and after that, you can go do your own thing.
Right, they would be a free agent again after that following year, which would be 2018.
So the question is, I'm using this as an example, what did he make last year? I don't guess it matter because he's a free agent, so he's up for trying to get whatever he can get. Cubs are going to say, hey, stay here for $17 million for 1 year, and after that, you're on your own. This is a one-time shot, and all these guys get that. So,
yeah, it's like that for all of them.
Interesting. All right, before I let you go, top 3 free agents right now. Stanton would be one of them. Who's the big 3 out there?
Yeah, there's going to be some. I think Eric Hosmer is going to be a big one. I think a lot of guys are going to be looking at him. I think he's going to be one. I think two of these closers, Wade Davis and Greg Holland, if they don't take these offers, I think they're going to be huge. I think people are going to be really looking at those guys and saying, hey, if I need somebody to back into my bullpen, I'll go out and grab one of these guys. I think they're going to be big as well. If you think back to, I'm not sure that Santana won't be a big one for the Indians as well. I think he'll accept this offer. I really do. I think he'll take it. But if he doesn't, I think there'll be a lot of teams come calling.
Last question. Daniel Norris, Detroit, loses his safety blanket. Brad Ausmus no longer the manager. He was very high on him, and understandably so. He's a great kid. The new guy, Ron Gardenhauer, does he keep him? Does he put him in the bullpen? Does he trade him? What do you think will happen?
I think he'll have every chance in the world in spring training to win a starting job. I think if he doesn't, I think he could go to the bullpen. He could either end up in the bullpen or AAA again. Like to see him in the bullpen. I mean, he's a lefty, so that's his advantage coming out of the bullpen. But in saying that, there's a lot of thoughts that maybe the Tigers are going to trade Michael Fulmer, and if they do that, they're going to need another starter, and it may just be Daniel Norris that'll be that guy.
They did put him in the pen roughly the last 2 months of the season. He had a couple of really quality appearances out of the bullpen for Detroit down the stretch. So a team that really laid an egg, which they got rid of, they emptied everybody out of there from the team and virtually they started over. So there was always talk with Brad Ausmus that he was going to be one of the cornerstones of the pitching staff, and injuries have really kept Norris from stepping up and doing what everybody thinks he can do, including Daniel Norris. So we'll see how that rolls, but again, we'll just have to keep an eye on what goes on in Detroit with Daniel Norris out of Johnson City. Look who just walked in.
Yeah.
My next guest.
Yeah.
He'll want to take over the show too.
He will take over the show.
That's it, because my headset's not working, and he'll just say, well, I'll just take over the show for you. So, awesome job. So this time next week, some of these will be announced, right?
Oh, yeah. We'll know the Players' Choice Awards, the Silver Sluggers, Defensive Players, Rookie of the Years. We'll know those.
Yeah, all by this time next week we'll be back at Chick-fil-A. Next Thursday we'll be at our regular stop at Champion Chevrolet, which is where we are on this Wednesday. We'll take a quick break. Great job, my friend.
Thank you.
Quick break. We'll be right back. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet for another 15-20 minutes. We'll be right back after this on the Tom Taylor Sports Show 631.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
Do you need an event catered? At Phil's Dream Pit, we cater for gatherings over 50 people. Weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, company picnics, sporting banquets, to name a few. We can set up, clean up, and of course serve. We also offer value packs that include all the food. You pick that up and serve it yourself. Check out our webpage at philsdreampit.com. That's philsdreampit.com. Phil's Dream Pit, Eastern Star exit on I-26, open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we're a phone call away at 423-349-6437, 349-6437. Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store. Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Yeah, you look at his legacy as a baseball player. I mean, he's one of those guys that used to throw a lot of innings. You know, he was kind of the end of that era of pitcher that was expected to go 8 innings, 9 innings. Throw complete games on a regular basis. Now everybody goes to the bullpen so early. You may not see a pitcher that throws as many innings as Halladay did during his career. And as you mentioned, remarkable pitcher, one of 2 pitchers in the history of baseball to throw a no-hitter in the postseason, which he did in 2010, same year that he had a perfect game that year as well, and just puts him among the all-time greats. But I think I remember a stat that there were 5,000 starts this year of major league pitchers, 5,000 total starts of all the baseball games played, and all the whole major league starters combined didn't have as many complete games as Halladay did over the course of his career, which was somewhere around 500 starts, I believe, or just under 500. So, obviously just a guy that had a lot of endurance, and there were pitchers back then that were that way. You think of Curt Schilling as a guy that could go deep into games, and there were a lot of guys that would just throw a lot of pitches and just be an arm made out of iron a little bit. Just a real tough guy and good pitcher, great competitor. You look at his stats, considering that a bulk of his career happened during what they call the steroid era now, in the late 90s, early 2000s. The fact that his numbers were as good as they were shows just a tremendous pitcher, tremendous competitor, and a very sad situation to hear that yesterday.
Basketball has switched gears. The federal grand jury in New York handing down the first 2 indictments relating to the college basketball corruption scandal. Chuck Person, the suspended associate head coach at Auburn, great player himself back in the day, and Rashawn Michelle, the owner of a clothing company and a former NCAA referee. That's not good. A former NCAA referee. So then I'm thinking, okay, did he throw games? Did he fix games? And so that right there is a big red flag. Both individuals charged with 6 counts related to the investigation unveiled back in September. The charges carry a maximum sentence of 80 years in federal prison if they're found guilty. Person and one spells Michael, one says Michelle. I'm not sure which way this one says Michael. Anyway, Rashawn, Michael, and Michelle are 2 of the 10 individuals who are charged in the the corruption and bribery scheme. Again, the dark underbelly of college basketball, the acting U.S. Attorney June Kim has called it. Three other college basketball assistants, Oklahoma State's Lamont Evans, Southern Cal's Tony Bland, and Emmanuel, his nickname is Book Richardson. He's a bookie, so that tells you all you need to know. We're also accused of similar crimes in the federal documents. What do you think?
Tip of the iceberg. That's what I think, because it's common knowledge in college basketball, has been for years, that recruiting is anything but on the up and up in a lot of cases, and in a lot of different levels. It's unfortunate. The shoe companies play such a large role in this. You're seeing Adidas, and these now that indictments are being handed out, there's no way these assistant coaches, with as widespread as some of this are going to say, well, I'm just going to, I'm going down with the ship. I mean, these guys are going to start making deals and start talking, and we're going to start finding out about how widespread this is. It's something that people have been pointing out for years in the NCAA. What a problem it is, specifically in basketball, and everybody turns a blind eye to it because of how many billions of dollars that they make off the NCAA tournament every year. It's kind of something that nobody really wanted to know about, but the FBI gets involved in this thing, and now a lot of it's coming to light. And I think it's just kind of the beginning. You're going to hear about a lot more coaches, and there's going to be a lot more information out there as soon as these people who have been named so far start making deals and start talking about what they know.
Assistant coach Chuck Person, a former NBA player and Auburn alum, accused of handling a total of $144,000. Person suspended without pay. His coach, Bruce Pearl, no stranger to NCAA trouble, is not named in the report. Book Richardson, an assistant coach at Arizona, accused of paying a player identified only as Player 5 $5,000 in bribe money to sign with the Wildcats. He has been suspended with pay. Southern Cal assistant Tony Bland charged with conspiracy to commit bribery, soliciting a bribe, and wire fraud. He's been charged with providing $9,000 cash payments to the families of two current Southern Cal players. He has been suspended. Oklahoma State's assistant coach Lamont Evans accused of receiving at least $22,000 in bribe money to exert his influence over certain student athletes at Oklahoma State and South Carolina. He's been fired by Oklahoma State. So, how much do these coaches know about this?
Well, it's really interesting. You have in basketball, you have kind of the AAU thing going on along with shoe companies, and they're involved down on that level. There's some plausible deniability from some of these coaches, and that's what Rick Pitino was trying to say, is that he didn't know anything about it. We're going to find out. It's one of those deals, and I heard the other day, and I think it was just this morning, I was reading something about Bob Knight and accusations he had about how dirty things were at UCLA under John Wooden. He said, of course, John Wooden didn't know anything about that. He showed up there, and they said, we have people that handle recruiting, which would be mind-boggling to think of today, but there might be a firewall built between some head coaches and assistants, where the understanding for the assistant coaches is, look, do what you need to get players in here. I don't want to know anything about it. But under NCAA rules, even if that's what happens, it's still kind of a failure to monitor, and just kind of losing institutional control, which lack of institutional control can bring some pretty heavy penalties. So it's going to be interesting. It's probably going to take a couple years to see how it shakes out and what happens, but it's going to change the landscape of college basketball if everybody moves forward with these charges and people start talking.
A former NCAA referee.
That's not good. Yeah, that's worse, because it gets to the credibility. We've seen that with there was the NBA official a while back who was tied up in possible fixing the games and everything else, and they're real sensitive to that. The point shaving, people forget how big college basketball was in the city of New York back in the 1950s. I mean, it was bigger than the NBA. It was huge. They would pack the gyms and pack Madison Square Garden. Everything else had some great basketball teams up there. They had a point shaving scandal with some of the players. Next thing you know, those schools, you never hear of them again. They were the big powers in college basketball. They just disappeared. It's like they fell off the face of the earth. And pretty good documentary. I think it was HBO that did a documentary on that, if folks want to check that out. But this is going to be comparable to that, I believe, in terms of harming the game of college basketball. And it's gonna. You look at Louisville. Louisville's been set back a long way, and I don't think they're the only school that's going to end up going down in this whole thing.
Talking to our buddy Dave Onch again. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet, inside the studio, inside the showroom at Champion Chevrolet. Again on select 2017 Cruises, Malibus, Corvettes, Sonics, and Impalas. Get 20% off select vehicles of those models, or 0% for up to 72 months, which is 6 years, in lieu of the 20%. Go either way. 20% off the sticker, or 0% for up to 72 months in lieu of 20%. So it's really it's an individual basis on whatever vehicle you're looking at and the person, their credit history, and so on and so forth. But they give you a couple of options. Or the other one is the GM employee pricing. So you get the price on selected 17 Silverados, Tahoes, Suburbans, Expresses, and Traverses. You get the same pricing as if you worked here. The employees get a discount when they buy a vehicle, and you'll get that same discount, which is really a pretty cool thing. I'll tell you what. So there's 3 different ways to save in the month of November here at Champion Chevrolet, ChampionJC.com. So college football, they've announced today Kevin Sumlin more than likely gone as the head coach. I don't think that's a shock, but it's pretty confirmed now that he's going to be gone as the head football coach for the Texas A&M Aggies, and we're not surprised.
Yeah, not really. And the SEC at this point, if you look at them as a conference, they've kind of fallen off the pedestal they were on for a long time. The other leagues have kind of caught up, and really it has a lot to do with coaching hires. If you look at some schools in the Big Ten, some schools in the ACC have done a better job hiring coaches recently, and have done a better job recruiting as a result. And it's kind of evened the playing field a little bit amongst the top teams in all those leagues. So, it's at a kind of a key moment now for the SEC. In terms of them going out, they got to get these hires right coming up. You got to get a good coach in at Florida, Texas A&M, allegedly Tennessee if they make a move, which I think most people are expecting them to. I mean, those are some big name programs. Arkansas is another one, big name program. Going to be looking for a coach as well. So, all these schools are going to have to get it right. To get this league back up to the level that they were at a few years ago.
Arkansas's got 4 wins. They got to have 6 to be bowl eligible. They finished with LSU, Mississippi State, and Missouri. Florida has 4, needs 6, of course. They finished this week, or not this week, but this week at South Carolina, back home to University of Alabama, Birmingham, back home to Florida State. They got to get 2 out of the legs, 3 to get into the bowls. Ole Miss has 4. They have Louisiana Lafayette, Texas A&M, and Mississippi State left. Of course, the Mississippi State game is known as the Egg Bowl. That'll be in Starkville this year, Thanksgiving weekend. Missouri with 4, need 2 more. They've got Tennessee on Saturday, Vanderbilt in Nashville, and then Arkansas and Fayetteville. So Missouri, 2 of their next 3 will be on the road. They got Tennessee at home Saturday night. 4 wins under the belt for Tennessee. We know what they've got to do. Texas A&M, speaking of the Aggies, they've got 5. They've got New Mexico, Ole Miss, and LSU. One of those 3, they win. They're bowl eligible. And Vanderbilt's got 4 wins right now. They have remaining on their schedule Kentucky and Nashville, Missouri and Nashville, and then come to Tennessee and Knoxville. So
yeah.
You got some teams. Of course, Alabama, that means Alabama. Excuse me. Auburn, Georgia, Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State, and South Carolina are bowl eligible now with 6 wins. And at this point, if you can't win the division, you want to get 6 under your belt to get to a bowl, and that's kind of the gel tape of the Southeastern Conference. Kevin Sumlin's buyout, by the way, it's just a paltry $10.4 million. I don't see how he's going to make it.
Yeah.
If he leaves, they got to cut him a check or start cutting him checks, either a lump sum or a staggered amount each month to the tune of $10 million.
Yeah, and I think, there's going to be a lot of programs moving ahead that are going to be a little more careful with their buyout situation, and because there's some teams that have gotten in trouble. There's some teams that have offered extensions, after some not mediocre, but decent results. Decent results get you a big extension, which gets you a higher buyout, and then they end up in these situations. And there's at least 3 or 4 SEC schools right now, alone that are staring at that as they try to make a decision. The one thing is, you're reading through those games I found really interesting. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season, where you have Florida State, who's a top 5 football team, and Florida, who's won 2 straight SEC East titles, who would have thought their game near the end of the season could come down to the winner is bowl eligible and the loser isn't? I mean, that to me just shows, what a big shock you just never know at the beginning of the season when you start looking at rankings and where teams are. You can have all the experts talk about it over the off season, but until they start playing the games, you don't know how it's going to happen. I think that really adds to the excitement of college football.
SEC, Georgia at 6-0, South Carolina in second place at 4-3. Never thought that. Kentucky in third place at 3-3. Florida in fourth place at 3-4. Tennessee and Vanderbilt have yet to win a conference game. Missouri's 1-4. So if you had sent me down in August and said, "Here's going to be the standings as of November the 8th," I'd say, "What are you smoking?" Because that's a crazy Eastern Division of the Southeastern Conference. South Carolina in second place, Kentucky in third, Florida in fourth place, and Tennessee yet to win a game.
Unbelievable. I mean, it really is. It's a head scratcher, and you just never know. Perception is such a big thing in college football. The perception of some of these teams going into the season was far removed from reality, and but that's the beauty of it. They play on the field. You get to figure it out, and there've been some twists and turns every Saturday so far this season.
Florida State sweating bullets to get bowl eligible, so they went out and rescheduled the team that canceled because of the hurricane. Louisiana Monroe, which is the Duck Dynasty boys down Louisiana Monroe, December the 2nd in Tallahassee. So they're sweating bullets they can get in. They've got to win out against Clemson this Saturday, Delaware State probably, Florida and Gainesville to be bowl eligible. So they went out and picked them up. Another team they're supposed to beat to kind of pad the schedule.
Yeah, that was a good move by them. They, with the hurricane, obviously, they rescheduled that for December 2nd, which is the week that I think SEC Championship scheduled for that week, and just kind of odd, but it's the last available week for them to play a football game, and they found a way to shoehorn it in there and make it work. And it's just they're at where they're at. They're trying to keep that streak alive. They tell recruits about that streak all the time. So, what's funny about it, though, is they're going to have to pay $1 million or whatever it is to get them in there. Then it's commonly known in college football, when you go play in a bowl game like the one they're going to play in, you lose money because it's a lower bowl game, what it costs to take your band and your team and everybody out there. So they're going to pay out $1 million, and then they're going to pay out more if they get bowl eligible to go to a bowl that isn't at the level of the Orange Bowl, which they played in last year.
College football is big business.
It is big time.
Let's slice it out.
Big time. Yep.
It's amateur sports. It's bull
hockey. The college football pays for the amateur sports. Your rowing and your softball and your everything else. I mean, the money you make off of the amateur college football sport that pays for the real amateur sports that happen in college.
Well put. You're exactly right. Now let's take a look real quick at top 25 college football. We'll run into the jamboree last night of girls basketball. I'll finish this thing up. Friday, number 9, Washington and Stanford. Saturday, top-ranked Alabama, number 18, Mississippi State. Number 2, Georgia, number 10, Auburn. I'm telling you, it's going to be a tough game. Auburn always plays those guys tough.
Yep.
I think it's one of the oldest rivalries in all of college football. Georgia-Auburn have been playing since way back in the 1800s. Georgia and Auburn, this could be a trap game for the Bulldogs.
It could be, and Auburn could be a good enough football team to jump up and beat Georgia and Alabama, which they're good enough talent-wise, I think, defensively, to make both of those good football games. I don't know if they have what it takes to win them, but boy, that would be a nightmare scenario for the SEC, who's hoping to have Georgia and Alabama undefeated in the title game, have a close game, and then get 2 spots in the college football playoff. After what happened to the Big Ten last week, that's looking more like a likely situation. But that really, this is the first of a couple games that are going to have the people in the SEC offices sweating a little bit.
Number 3, Notre Dame, and number 7, Miami, coming up on Saturday night. Again, I'll go on record. I got no dog in the hunt, but to me, Notre Dame's not the third best team in this country, but that's where they are. It's where the pollsters put them. They're right in the thick of things for a big bowl opportunity to the postseason, but they have to sell it to get at Notre Dame and Miami coming up on Saturday night. You think Notre Dame's the third best in the country?
It's hard to say at the moment. They have a good loss to Georgia, but a good loss is still a loss, and I think we're going to find out a lot about Georgia as we talk about as they play Auburn, and then eventually they're pretty much locked in to play Alabama as well. So we'll find out more about them later. Notre Dame this week. Miami really impressed me last week, with what they did with Virginia Tech. That for me kind of solidified that they're for real. So it's going to be a good test for Notre Dame. We get to the point now where for the next 2 or 3 weeks we really start finding out about some teams that have been unproven. Wisconsin's among them too, being an undefeated team but really untested.
4th-ranked Clemson will take on Florida State in Clemson coming up on Saturday. Number 5, Oklahoma will entertain number 8, Texas Christian. Christian on Saturday night. That's a good one.
Yep.
Here's one. Number 6 Wisconsin hosting number 25 Iowa. 3:30 kickoff. You almost got their butts kicked and handed to them. The Buckeyes got humiliated on the road, and I called that one last week. I said Iowa's going to it's a trap game for the Buckeyes, and it was. And so Iowa now cracking the top 25 and traveling to a very good Wisconsin team.
That was a shame. I could hardly bear to watch Ohio State get kicked up and down the field. That was a shame. But I'll tell you this. Iowa is a team that could expose Wisconsin this week, and this to me, and we've said it about 3 or 4 games on this schedule. We're going to find some stuff out, and it's going to be, we've had a couple Saturdays that seemed a little bit lackluster on paper. Then there were some big upsets, but this is one where this is strength on strength. You have some really good football teams playing each other here at this point with really big implications.
The argument has become this year in college football that suddenly the Big Ten Conference is a stronger and better football conference, top to the bottom of the Southeastern Conference. You take Alabama and everybody else is like, yeah, okay, they're all right, and Georgia, of course.
Yeah.
But then you look at the Big Ten. You've got Wisconsin, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan. So what is your take on that argument that the Big Ten is a better football conference right now?
I think they're getting there. It's hard to say at the moment. Normally what happens is you're tempted to say that, and I am as a Big Ten fan. Then the bowl games happen, and it seems like SEC teams, have their way in a lot of cases. But this year I really kind of think it's true. I think Iowa, is a really strong team. Michigan State's been surprising to me. I think when you look at those middle teams in the league, I just don't think they're as good up top. Obviously what happens to Ohio State and Penn State, you see those teams falter. But you look at the top of the league, and they're nowhere near as strong as Georgia or Alabama. There isn't a team in the league that can play with either of those two. But, if you take them out, I think the middle of the league has a lot more strength than the SEC. I think after the top 2 in the SEC, there's a huge drop-off where the middle-tier teams in the Big Ten, I think they're stronger a little bit down through, but they don't have anything for those top 2 teams at the moment.
Number 11, Ohio State. Number 13, Michigan State on Saturday. 12th ranked Oklahoma State goes number 24, Iowa State. That's another great game in the Big 12 Conference. The Cowboys and the Cyclones in Iowa. 14th ranked Central Florida hosting UConn. The 15th ranked Southern Cal at Colorado. 16th ranked Penn State takes on Rutgers. God bless them, Rutgers. They're going to go in against teams lost back-to-back to Michigan State and Ohio State. So Penn State's going to, I'm afraid, take out their yayas and Rutgers.
Yep.
17th ranked Virginia Tech goes to Georgia Tech. Good ball game, blowout.
This is tough. This is a tough week for Virginia Tech to have to go, because that's a tough loss for them last week. I think emotionally it was tough. I think emotionally it drains them a little bit. Now you have to turn around and get ready for the triple option, and I was impressed with how Clemson was able to handle Georgia Tech. So I think, Georgia Tech's not the team maybe they were at the beginning of the season. But that's one where if Virginia Tech's looking in the rearview mirror at last week, it could cost them this week big time because it's a tough offense to face.
19th ranked Washington State plays at Utah. 21st ranked Michigan. Your boys will be in Maryland to battle the Terrapins. No problem there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a pretty good. What do they call it? Mollywhopping. I read that on a piece of paper a minute ago. That's the first time I've heard that one. But that's how I would sum this up. I'll tell you, Michigan ran the ball really well against Minnesota last week. We almost had 2 200-yard rushers, so ran for almost 400 yards and really getting it together. So, yeah, I'd say that's going to be a beating. But Michigan finishes with Wisconsin and Ohio State. So, again, that's not a fun way to end the season. So we'll see how that goes.
And rushing against Minnesota, that's not exactly Alabama's defense. So
no, that's I think. It's Minnesota. Minnesota's rush defense was actually rated pretty highly before that game. They have good defense. They're struggling elsewhere, but man, I'll tell you, the blocking was great. And if that happens again this week, it's gonna be a long day for the Terrapins.
Spoke like a true Wolverine. The blocking was great.
Oh, it was wonderful.
West Virginia, Kansas State. The Mountaineers 23rd on the road at Kansas State, and this could be a trap game for West Virginia going out there. Kansas State's kind of middle of the pack right now, so Mountaineers have been in the polls, out of the polls. Now they're back in the polls at number 23 after beating Iowa State. So we'll see how that rolls for them on Saturday.
It's kind of been like the hokey pokey for them. They've been in, they've been out, they've been in, they've been shaking it all about. And this week, I think they get a win. I think they get a win and move forward.
After 30-some years, I've never heard a man say compare college football to
the hokey pokey.
You can tell he is a little person. How's the
I still need to buy a puzzle. I haven't done that yet. If you see her, my daughter out and about, don't remind her. Don't bring it up.
I opened up a bad scar. If you missed the show a couple of weeks ago, he went home and he and his little girl that's in grade school making a puzzle together, doing this dad-daughter moment. And he tripped and spilled coffee or something, swapped
Yeah.
all the puzzle and threw the puzzle away, and the little one's not happy. So I keep asking. I guess I keep fueling the fire. I keep asking every time I see him, how's the puzzle been going? And
I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened the other day. Is of course it's a 1,500 piece puzzle, and I'm trying to clean it all up after I spilled on it, and apparently a piece fell under the coffee table. I didn't know about until like 2 or 3 days ago, and my daughter was under the coffee table to get a toy, and she picked up one of the puzzle pieces from the puzzle. She said, "This one's dry. You didn't mess this one up." I said, "Yeah, I got the other 1,499, but yeah, that." She was nice about it, but she pointed it out, so.
they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they can do that. They can tweak it when you least expect it. Jamboree last night. Volunteer beat Elizabeth and South beat. Actually, Crockett played a 15-15 tie. Unicoi County beat Cherokee pretty handily. Johnson County tied with Tennessee High. You also had Science Hill all over Happy Valley girls. Sullivan East beat Daniel Boone, which I think is somewhat of an upset. And Dobbins hit it over Sullivan Central. All this is Jamboree, and everybody doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah, there were a lot of kids. I was surprised how many kids are hurt this early. Just from practice and scrimmage and all that. But there's some kids banged up. I know Boone. That score right there is a little deceiving because they had a couple of their key players sitting out that game. So, but yeah, all the coaches, how it is in the preseason. They're all excited. Everybody's ready to get rolling. So, it's amazing. Right around the corner.
And tomorrow night will be the big 7 Three Rivers Boys Jamboree at Elizabethton High School. Tomorrow night, in this order, we won't be here tomorrow, so this will be it for us to tell you. Central plays Science Hill first at 5 o'clock, South and DB at 5:30, Unicoi County and Cherokee at 6, Sullivan East and Crockett at 6:30, Johnson County, Tennessee High at 7, Happy Valley Volunteer at 7:30, and Elizabethton and Daniel Boone, which of course is the host school of the Jamboree. Elizabethton and Daniel Boone at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night will be the final game. Big 7 Three Rivers Boys Jamboree at Elizabethton High School. So.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Fun to see those teams mix it up. Of course, a lot of our local teams, are done with football season. Looking down through there, Crockett, Boone, Science Hill, all three of them have their football players back in the fold, ready to play basketball, which is kind of surprising to me.
Tennessee High, they're done. So,
yep, they are too.
in fact, here's the ones that are still going. Not many. Of course, Dobbins been in 6A. And 5A, you have nobody from my neck of the woods still playing. They're all done. In 4A football, of course, Greenville and Elizabethton. In 3A football, Johnson County. In 2A football, you have Sullivan North and Happy Valley. And then in single A football, you have Cloudland. Everybody else is done. So we'll talk more about this on Friday with the high school picking. Again, tomorrow we'll take tomorrow off to do a little personal stuff, hang out with some little people tomorrow. Back in the on the show on Friday. So we'll be ready to go tomorrow night. He may be over there calling in, but he's going to be covering the Jamboree, the basketball Jamboree. But I think we're still going to look him up and talk by phone for a few minutes here and there to get Dave on the show. And of course, it's kind of let's see, we'll have Joe Venta tomorrow doing the Buccaneers-Sanford game. We'll have Chris McCall tomorrow talking about the Hokies and Georgia Tech. We'll talk tomorrow also. Tim is pointing because Tim, did you grade? Was my grading right, Tim? I don't know. I'm sure it was. Congratulations.
Me?
Yeah, you won.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, you won the pool last week. So, made him some jingle.
All right.
Yeah.
I think go to the pay window.
All of a sudden he's going, I can get her the puzzle.
I'm buying a puzzle. Yeah. So you just won the big picking pot there. Where are you going now?
Yeah.
Not to Disney World. I'm going to buy a puzzle.
I'm going to Walmart to get my little puzzle. So she picks up a piece of puzzle on the table and says, oh.
You didn't mess this one up.
Didn't mess this one up.
Miss this one, big guy. Yep. Yep.
And I'm sure somewhere Mrs. Anju was back somewhere giggling and yeah, she's enjoying it.
She is.
Tag
Yeah.
team.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of one of those deals. You made your bed, now you lie in it, You
You have dogs?
Yes.
Boys or girls?
Well, just one dog, girl.
Girl.
Yeah.
You're the only guy in the house.
I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
They tag teaming you.
Yeah, it's rough. I grew up with, me and my two brothers. So it was all men except for my mom in the house, and now it's flipped on me. Yeah, it's flipped. So.
Are you feeling it? You feel it? Is it tough sometimes?
It's a tough road to hoe some days, but most of the time we have a good time. So.
This guy needs to be in politics. That's tough sometimes.
Yeah, there's some days when I say the wrong thing.
Oh, I love this guy. Yeah. See, my father used to say, "Boys, listen for what they don't tell you. That's what you want to hear."
Yep.
So I'm hearing everything. I'm right there with him.
When it gets real quiet, then I know.
It's
Okay.
the calm before the storm.
It is.
When it gets real quiet. Is there anything wrong? No.
Okay. What happened?
What I do wrong? All right, one more time. Central and Science Hill tomorrow night at 5. It's every 30 minutes. South and Dobbins Bennett, Iroquois County, Cherokee, East and Crockett at 6:30, 7 o'clock Johnson County, Tennessee High at 7:30. Happy Valley Volunteer, and at 8 o'clock tomorrow night Elizabeth and Daniel Boone. So that's gonna do it from here. Great job.
Enjoyed it.
Looks like we're gonna. Well, if I'd have won that money, because I got a new headset.
There you go.
Coming out of my pocket for this headset, which we got to go get because headset 2 is deader than a hammer, which is watch it come on as I'm going off the air.
Yeah.
That'd be my luck.
Yeah.
Anyway, we want to say thanks to our guest again today. Obviously, we had Greg Snyder come in, Shannon Phipps from Hardee's with the Hardee's Classic, the bracket set, and of course our buddy Dave Angie. No show tomorrow, taking tomorrow off, but we will be back tomorrow night right here at 6 o'clock for 5 o'clock for the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. And Dave will be with us by phone, hopefully somewhere making a cameo appearance as he's covering the Jamboree over in Elizabeth for boys basketball. So we are out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. So for Cletus Green and Tim Copenhaver and Andy Dietrich, this is Tom Taylor telling you as always, win or lose, be a good sport. Be sure to check out the Sean Whitney